One, go. Another one.
Hold up. Let me not get too ahead of myself. I know some of you guys may just be here for the deck list and that's all you want and you don't really want to see the video, which is perfectly fine. If that's what you're here for, then I'll show it to you. Boom. It's the deck list. I will say I did not create this deck list on my own. This was taken straight out of the Master Duel Discord by someone that is a lot more big brain than me. And you may be like, OP, this deck isn't even free to play. Which to that I say, I made it free to play. Okay. I'm lying just a little bit. I spent $20 on the game to get Forbidden Droplet. However, the rest of this deck I crafted myself by, of course, utilizing the secret packs in game and crafting, which literally meant what I did was I actually scrapped any card that wasn't actually part of the master pack itself. And what I mean by this is, let's say for an example, Zeus. The only way to obtain Zeus is by going through the master pack. Well, if I would wind up getting a card that I don't think I would actually be using, that I know that I can get through another secret pack later on, like for example, Dark Magician. Dark Magician has his own secret pack, and if I ever wanted to build a Dark Magician deck, right, I would already have to summon on this secret pack. So if I wind up getting a Dark Magician any other way, I would just scrap them. Just because, I mean, if I am going to build a Dark Magician deck in the future, I'm going to have to go on the pack anyway, more than likely to get the other cards. Of course, some people may say this is counterintuitive, which to that I say you're probably right. But hey man, this is how I did it as someone who didn't play the TCG or OCG, and the only thing I played was Duel Links. Where's all my Duel Links players at? Yes sir, yes sir. Hey. I love y'all. Getting into this game was quite overwhelming, but also at the same time, I could get by in this game without spending as much money as I had to in Duel Links for some decks. So I guess that's a good sign, just because the crafting system is kind of like the saving grace for a lot of these decks, in my opinion. So yeah, that's the deck list. I guess you want me to talk about it a little bit, don't you? God damn. If you want to know like the basic premise of this deck, it's mainly you're trying to get out your main boss monsters from the extra deck, and you have a lot of ways to go about it. It's not just like one way beats all. A lot of times what you're using is mostly your Warbler, your Sparrows, and your Swallows. Pause on that. To hopefully maybe get out a Starling. Upon getting out Starling, you can use Starling to search for other monsters such as Narvel. And then you can wind up using Narvel's effect to actually banish monsters in your graveyard to, of course, get out one of your Link monsters, whether that be your Omen, your Apollo, Double Dragon Lords. It's really up to you and like what's happening in the match. Also, Utopic Draco Future is another thing that you would definitely want to get out if you can. So yeah, I know that explanation was terrible, but I'm still learning the deck too, so I can't really even tell you like all the combos, and me telling you it from the deck list screen is really not gonna help nobody because you're not seeing it. Also, I'm gonna replace Revolt with TRI-BRIGADE Oath, just because this is more protection. Yeah, that's the deck list. If that's all you came here for, can you consider subscribing before you leave? I kind of want to do more Yu-Gi-Oh content, and like the video and all that good stuff. Now to get on into my terrible gameplay. This boy set up a whole back row. So I won't lie, I am kind of scared of what that back row is, because there's a lot of cards in this game that I don't know yet. There is so many things we can do right now that it's actually hurting my brain. I think I got this. We're going to activate Fractal. Going to send a Wagtail to the graveyard. Check me out. We're then going to activate Bird Call, and we're going to add a Sapphire into our hand, special summon our Sparrow, activate Sparrow's effect. This may get countered though, to add a Nerval into our hand. Upon doing this, we can activate the effect of Sparrow to special summon our Nerval, and we could banish into a Link monster, which I am not going to do yet. We're instead going to Link summon into our Starling, move our Nerval. This will pop the effect of Nerval actually, and we get to add another card to our hand, which we're actually going to be adding a Orbital to our hand, which may not make too much sense at the moment, but trust me, it will in a second. We're going to bring Kit into our hand. Actually, wait, I messed up. It's perfectly fine. I think. It may not be fine. Wait, never mind. No, I did the right play. Actually, no, I didn't. Because you want to know something crazy? There's nothing in my graveyard I can special summon. You know what? We're paw desiring here. We may have just lost a lot of our firepower, but guess what? You draw 2 cards. We're gonna activate this to special summon Warble from the hand. We can't We can't do anything else. This duel right here took 30 minutes. I didn't even realize this whenever I was playing, but this was a 30-minute long duel that I lost, which was completely avoidable, by the way. I'm pretty sure if I would have played this correctly, I would have actually won, because I actually played everything right. I got my whole board set up, as you can see. Look at it. It looked all nice. But I didn't trigger Avian's effect whenever the Dragon Maiden came out, and I probably should have just did that, because if I would... So yeah, I wanted to put this in. So yeah, I wanted to put this in to just tell you that if you go against Blue Eyes and you have an Avian out, make sure you use it. Make sure you use it, because if you don't, you're probably going to end up like me. So this is another duel that I'm just going to commentate over. There was live commentary with this, but after that long 30-minute duel, I was kind of completely drained. So I really wasn't talking too much, but I think this duel here is probably the best that I've played this deck in the entire video. Like, no lie, no lie. So I thought I would talk over it and just tell you like the general thought process I was having. But the person we were facing here was actually playing Salamangreat. This was a deck type that I was unfamiliar with completely, so I was pretty much reading every single card as they came out. Good news is I actually made a really good bet here, and I just instantly activated my Max C, and I wound up drawing quite a bit of cards to, you know, make some plays with. Like, literally, it was so many cards in my hand I almost couldn't even see them all. So pretty much he did his thing. He kept special summoning, which I was completely surprised about. Usually whenever people instantly see you pop a Max C and they already have like a few Link monsters or something out on the field, they usually just stop. But this person was determined to annihilate me. However, I guess he didn't take into consideration I would be playing TRI-BRIGADE. So once it actually got to my turn, there was a lot of stuff I could do, and I really didn't even know where to begin. But I just kind of broke it all down and just took it all in piece by piece. Instead of getting completely overwhelmed, I just went with what I usually know. I popped Fractal's effect, sent a Sparrow into the graveyard, special summoned the Warbler onto the field, activated its effect to actually wind up getting Sparrow out of the graveyard. And I also see here that he has something that could negate my card, which he actually shows it later on whenever it's too late. But we activate Sparrow once it gets on the field. Sparrow then allows me to search my deck for any card. I actually just wound up picking a Nerval out of my deck. And now, since we have this base setup already completed, we can now Exceed Summon into our first Starling. After we summon Starling, of course, we can use its effect to actually search for any 1-star wing beast that we have, and I just decided to go with DD Crow here just because I already had so many cards in my hand. And then I used Sapphire, and I activated its effect to special summon Nerval onto the field, and this of course allowed me to set up for my next Exceed summon, which is of course another Starling. By the way, mind you, he still has that activatable card that he has not used yet. So after getting the other Starling onto the field, we detach the Nerval, put it in the graveyard, get out of here. And then once we do that, we can actually use our Nerval's effect to search our Keat. So I kind of made a very big misplay here. I instantly summoned Keat after obtaining her, and what I really should have done was instead I should have Exceed Summon first before I actually put Kit onto the field. And the reason why I would say I would Exceed Summon instead of instantly going into a Banish Summon was to play around whatever trap card he may have, because we could instantly bring out our Utopia so we could protect ourselves if he wanted to activate something that targeted me, because I could just instantly negate it. But like I said, it worked out in the end, and we were instantly able to get the Banish off with Kit. We banished 2 monsters from the grave. This allowed me to link summon into my double Dragon Lords. And once they were out in the field, I'm gonna be honest, it was kind of over already. Anything that he would activate, I already had protection from double Dragon Lords, so there was nothing he could do. And you see how many cards are in my hand? I'm set. I could literally discard my entire hand, I would still have plays. Not even to mention, we still have 2 Ash Blossoms in the hand as well. So after doing this, I got a little fancy. I thought I could do a little bit more than what I actually had at the moment, so I activated Bird Call. And with Bird Call, I wind up grabbing a Canary from my deck, and then I special summon my Wagtail onto the field. I activated Wagtail's effect just to search for my last spell card. Completely unnecessary, by the way. There was no reason for me to do this, since I already had one, but I mean, hey, if you can mill your deck, it's always good, right? Once that effect resolved, we actually Exceed into our Utopic, and then after Exceeding into Utopic Future, we of course did it again to Exceed into Draco Future. And then once we had this on the board, like I mentioned before, that actually kind of rhymed. I was vibing. I really was. I was feeling good. I was feeling great. I was like, I feel like there's no way that this guy can actually counter me at the moment. And I was kind of right on this. I got even more fancy. I decided to use one of my tinkies and I searched for another fractal. Why did I do this? Who knows? I think in my head, I thought I didn't already normal summon, so I could summon him to banish even more monsters from the graveyard, but I already did normal summon this turn. So that was kind of a misplay on my part, but the turn was lasting so long, I just actually forgot. But guess what? Just like everything in this video, it all worked out in the end, baby. We got rid of Kitten Wagtail to summon our Blossom. Upon Blossom entering the field, of course, I was able to activate Kit's effect from the graveyard, so I could just put another TRI-BRIGADE in my graveyard. Just in case if I do get another one out, I can banish them to, of course, do another Link summon or whatever I wanted to do. And that's exactly what I did. We activated Blossom's effect. I was able to special summon my Fractal that was in my hand onto the field. Once I did this, I actually banished 4 cards from the graveyard to summon my Omen. Once Omen was on the field, it was pretty much a wrap. I mean, it was already a wrap, but this guy finally is going to show, I think, what his trap was this entire time. Whenever it was too late. Double Dragon Lords are on the field. Utopic is on the field. So what did this guy have the whole time? The whole time, what did he have? He had an infinite. The entire time, he had an infinite in his back row that allows you to negate any one of my card's effects, and he never decided to use it. Granted, even if he would have used it, I would have been able to work around it, but it was so crazy to me because whenever I saw that, I was like, really? The one thing that could have saved you, and you just didn't even pop it. It was like me the other game. If I didn't use Avian, and Avian could have saved me. I'm assuming he didn't read my cards, so he didn't actually know what was happening, and yeah, after this point, you can guess what happened. The boy, he just decided to surrender. So I hope you guys enjoyed that incredibly mid gameplay. That was about an hour long of just me dueling in rank just to see what happened. It was at the gold level, by the way. As you can see, gold 3. So we're not too high up. By the way, if you want to, absolutely follow me. But as a new player getting into this deck, I want to say this deck isn't really that confusing, and the more and more you play it, the more and more I think you start to grasp it a little bit better. Like, seeing it on paper and seeing like how many combos it has is kind of like overwhelming, like, oh my god, I would never be able to do this. But it's like a fighting game, I want to say. The more and more you play, the more and more you get accustomed to things, and the more you start realizing, like, oh, I can counter this by doing that. It's very much like trial and error, I want to say, with this deck until you actually start getting, like, really good with it. And even as someone as Papega as me can be pretty good with this deck. Of course, I think the only thing that kind of is, like, limiting in this deck is that people may look at this and be like, oh, this is, like, non-free to play. But I'm pretty sure you can absolutely obtain it free to play. The only reason why I say I think it's just because I did spend $20 to, of course, obtain 2 of my Forbidden Droplets. Yeah, it's a really fun deck, really good, and there's not much else to say. But that's gonna be it for this one, man. Thank you all for coming out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more, and last but not least, you guys already know, don't forget to drink water.